Viamille Social Talk Podcast. We are a mortgage company, a management company, and we sell both the Chicago and Chicagoland suburbs in Chicago. And so we bring you all the best people. Today is our first episode of 2024, and today we're just going to chop it up a little bit about what we expect for the new year, what's been going on for the next half an hour, and then we'll probably go into another topic on the other half an hour. But again, we've had so many people on our show, and I want to thank you guys for listening. If you have never watched the podcast, please go to Spotify and check out all of our podcasts. We have tons of podcasts that's going on, and we're as we grow, we want to grow with you guys. Telling us what you want to talk about. I mean, we've had financials and lawyers and brokers and a whole lot of different hosts of people on our podcast, and we've been reaching out to many people and giving them financial advice on how to move forward with their home, how to sell their home, what to expect, what not to expect, and we'll be doing that. And this season is basically. We already have a few coming up this season, guys. We have I think our next podcast, the next two podcasts. I have a lady that's working in the Chicago Public School, and she's been really using what she knows to bring in natural all businessmen and women in order to give the college student an idea that there's a possibility that you may not have to go to college. Not that college is not important, but the fact that there's, whether you want to become a broker, an appraiser, or whatever you want to go in my industry, or if you want in medical field and things that you can say, you know what, I can do 2 years of college and come back and live a successful life. And that podcast is coming up, I think, in about 2 weeks. And so if you haven't seen, you want to kind of look at that and say, hey, you know what, if you have a student or that's coming up, think outside the box. And I'm just doing this podcast because not everybody got to go to college, right?
Right.
Not everybody got to spend 4 years and spend $30,000 or $50,000 in college. Some people can say, you know what, I could be a mechanic, I could be a realtor, an AC guys. Some kind of trade school, and so this lady, Miss Andrea, she's putting this program together, which I'm a part of course, and I'll be talking to the students, the seniors, about what it takes to become a realtor, how to become successful, how to have longevity in the business, and leadership role in what, how to move forward.
And that's that's February 8th at Sullivan High School, correct?
Well, it's a Chicago high school.
Yeah.
So, it's, I'll be doing that in one of the high schools. So, if you have students that's coming out of high school, look out the box. They may, if they don't want to go to college, says, hey, you can do something else, But like I said, not that college is not important, because some people need to go to college. Some people don't need to go. Mm-hmm. And so this program, we're having the military there. I'll be there. There's going to be someone from an IT company going to be there. There's going to be printers there. There's going to be, a whole host of trade going to be at this event. And it's literally just talking to the students about what it takes to be successful coming out of high school if you do not want to go to college. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, you don't want people to fall through the cracks.
Right.
So I think that's so important, and I think what she's doing is going to be really fabulous, and I can't wait. This is the first time I'll be a part of it, so I'm saying, guys, look out for this podcast. She'll tell you most of the people that will be there, and if you have any students coming out of high school, just they can connect with me. I can talk with them or whoever. And just by the way, guys, if you're in Chicagoland, you're in the north side of the city. We at Mills Realty, we are looking for other agents. We are hiring. We will train. We will give you leads.
I don't want to be the only one in the boat.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being
Renzo is busy as it is, right?
So, I need some help. Come on.
So he needs some help. So we're looking for people to grow the business with. And so if you're looking for some kind of, I don't want to say job, but more entrepreneurship or career
mentorship,
we are willing to do that, and and bring you in the business and help you to make your money and that kind of stuff. So that was just sort of an introduction, guys. This is our
it's its first year, so it's a little bit of an update what we're doing, right?
Yeah, and this is our first podcast of 2024.
Right.
Or we're in our, I want to say, 7th season, and so we want to be able to.
We know we've been doing this for a long time.
Not that long. But and if anyone, by the way, if you're in the Chicagoland area, and what I'm doing this year, I'm highlighting local businesses. So if you're a local business and you want to be highlighted on the podcast, please let us know. If you know a local business that wants to be highlighted, please let us know. We will come to their place of business, or they come to our office and they'll tell us all about what they do and how we can help them grow. Right? Because it's all about together we grow.
Being a service to people.
You know, like the Chinese proverb says, if everybody put all their sticks, we get a bigger fire.
Right?
It's a Chinese proverb, right?
Yeah.
Everybody put all their sticks on the fire, we get a bigger fire. So, thanks again for listening. Renzo he wanted to talk about
the market, things. Man. The market.
The market, and by the way, thank you for for listening again.
Yeah.
And I think you said we talked about what do we expect.
Yeah. So I recently shout out to my own TikTok, but anyway, so I listened to or not listened to, but I saw this article by the chief economist at National Association of Realtors. Mm-hmm. She says nationally, this is not, of course, this is Chicago and cities are differ, but nationally. We're tapering off at 6.7% interest rates. And mortgage rates mortgage applications from buyers have increased 3 to 4% in the last couple months. And so here's another thing. The average home that's not new is going to cost you around $319, and then a newer house is going to cost you around $400. But anyway, it comes down to your mortgage coming down to maybe a monthly payment of $2,000 to $2,100.
And that's on his TikTok. So
and that's national news, of course. But I think that's just like a broad kind of scope of where the nation is at, actually. And so, let me ask you this: do you think it's realistic for people to be paying $2,000 a month for a mortgage? Is that hard? Is that a hard thing to do for the American people?
Of course, it's a hard thing to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, $2,000 is a lot.
But is it unattainable? Do you think 2,000?
No, it's not. And that's the norm right now, to be honest. For an average home of $350,000, and you did an FHA loan, people are paying $2,000 plus for a mortgage, and that's what people are paying. It all depends on where you are. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're in. Some part of Chicago where you're at, people pay much more than that. Mm-hmm. If you go on the other side of town, it's less than that, So if you're in the north suburb, you're sort of in the 2,000 range. And that really depends on your taxes, too. Because taxes could be, taxes could be 8,000, 9,000. 10,000 a month, which is $800. So, that's all depending on your taxes. But that's attainable. The economy is pretty strong, which is a good thing for most of us. But what I'm gonna tell you something. What we're also seeing is we're seeing an uptick in short sales. All right, so it's not like a massive uptick, but I have actually ran into one or two short sales already for this year. Whether or not that will be prevalent, like in 2008, 9, 10, where everything was a short sale. I don't think so, because of the equity in people's home and because of the interest rate that people have purchased, and the job market is still great. So I don't think so, but I've seen that. I've seen a small uptick in short sales, and that just means that people lost their jobs. I was looking at statistics. That's statistics. I was actually looking at the number of foreclosures that were filed in January, and it was 100, and in Chicago it was
Okay, so I want to
I
want to pause you real quick. Foreclosure is one of those like red flag words. So a lot of people listening, they hear foreclosure and they think, oh, the housing market's gonna crash. Now that people are foreclosing, it's 2007 all over again.
No.
So what do you mean?
Not even close.
So because foreclosures are coming back in, is that bad? Is that a bad thing?
Well, it's always been here.
Okay.
It's not something that's new, right?
Right.
So, but I just looked at the Cook County database and just realized that there's a number of people that
Are
not
foreclosure.
so much foreclosure, but there's a word that we use called list pendants, right?
Oh, list pendants.
List pendants.
Yeah.
And that word is just basically that they have not paid their mortgage in 3 months or so, and the mortgage company had filed what's called a list pendants, like a pre-foreclosure notice. Hey, you guys are way behind.
You're definitely knocking on the door, kind of.
They've knocked on the door already, saying, "Hey, we have to file something because you're now behind 90 days or 120 days, something of that sort."
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that, but that have always been there too.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an uptick? Very small.
So let me ask you this: in the national inventory, is foreclosures included in like the national inventory when we consider like inventory?
No, inventory is actually active listings.
But foreclosures are not included in that.
Well, if it's on the market, then it could be, I'm sure it's included. Or inventory is what's available for sale. So if the foreclosures are, the owner hasn't put it on, no, it's not inventory. Inventory is, can I go out and purchase house? Now, keep in mind, we're still behind. I want to say we're still 4 months on an average behind. When I say behind, there's less home on the market, and so we're still behind in inventory.
Yeah, and I was looking at the graph again provided for us by MRED, and we're at we're at a trough when it comes to inventory. We're kind of at a national low.
We are
a national record low for inventory. I mean, I was looking at this graph in the last 3 years. We're at the bottom. I mean, and you know what Drake says, started from the bottom. So I guess we can only go up. But so is that good news? That okay, we're at a trough. Do you think we're at rock bottom, or do you think it get worse? Do you think we're going up?
I don't think I think we're okay. I don't think we'll. For inventory, we expect in this 2024 to have more inventory by this spring.
Okay.
And that's just, as a matter of fact, there's more buyers out there than anything else right now.
Right.
There's a lot more buyers out there. I mean, because rates are sort of coming down, and we're still, you see we're at 6.6, 6.7
national, yeah.
So we're now keep in mind, and I tell them all the time, 5 to 6 is sort of the range for mortgage. We were just at a 2 for so long that people don't remember when it's at 6 and 7 and 8. But 6.5, 6, 5, that's really where we should be all the time.
Right.
When we're all the way down, I mean, the market, they're trying to bring back the market, but I don't think the market going to get back to 2%. I really don't think it's going to be. I mean, the people that got 2 and 3 and 4, hey, I mean, I'm glad.
And put it to perspective, the government had to put the interest rates low because we were in a pandemic.
We were.
And people weren't spending. You were just at home, watching TV all day. So the government's like, hey, spend your money. We
For the economy, right?
Yeah, we got to get this flowing. And then people were like, oh, let's buy a bunch of houses. And now people are kind of upset that they kind of maybe missed out on the sale, or they got outbidded because it was hyper competitive, very hyper competitive. So I know one family we were working at, we were trying to go to Waukegan. I mean, she saved up all this money, and she's like, man, this is my chance. But then, boom, she entered a market where a lot of people were similar to her. And all these people were saved up money similar to her. And then, boom, a bidding war happened. And then she just kind of got out.
And actually, she got priced out.
Yeah.
All right. So if you have the ability to get into the market now, I don't see rates dropping to 2% anytime soon, unless the economy really tanks, and and foreclosures start coming up and all. But I don't see that happening. I mean, most of the economists that I listen to, I mean, that they're not seeing it either. And we here are not seeing it because we see so much buyers out there.
Right.
We literally have lists of buyers who want to buy property right now.
Right.
And they're chopping it, and they can't find anything, right?
Yeah, I think society has to come to a point where sellers are willing to cash out on their equity. Some sort of social event or some sort of social mentality nationally has to change, where those 50, 60, 70-year-olds, parents with their kids got out of the house, maybe they're ready to kind of get some equity. I don't know. But
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah, so we have to get to some sort of point where people are willing to let go, and people are willing to sell, and people are willing to.
I think the issue is when we start getting these 0%, 1%, 2% interest rate. There's so much equity inside people's home, right? Let's say there's so much equity.
Record high.
It's literally
Literally a record high.
A record high equity in people's home, and no one is trying to get out of a 2% mortgage.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So why would you want to get out of 2% and pay 6?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's just like blowing, unless you bought a small little house and you get it for a night
Right.
You got so much equity you can afford to do a 6, and so we may be in a position where we're in this shortage of inventory for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We may be in that position because of the interest rate, and people don't want to let go.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a reality.
But I think people are gonna have to come to grip with that reality, because you just said you're not gonna see it go back down to 2. So those people hoping that I'll sell when it gets back down to 2. I'll sell when it.
Yeah.
Well, how many years we're thinking? Like 10 years?
Yeah. Think about this.
Yeah.
1990.
Okay.
1990.
I was not born yet.
So he was not born yet. All right.
I'm born in '98. You know.
All right. Let's say 95. Then you were getting ready to be born.
Yeah.
But rates were 7% and 8%, and that was a great deal. No. 1995 rates were 10%. Right. I bought my first home at 10%, 10.5%. And I bought my first home, right?
Yeah.
And I said, my gosh, I had a great deal.
Right.
Because people were paying 12 and 13.
But wasn't the power of the dollar super much more powerful back then? Back in the 90s, or am I wrong?
I mean, that's relative. That's kind of a relative question. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like, did the weight? Because it seems to me, at least, and this is the qualm of my generation,
okay.
It seems like the wages today just don't provide enough to get that American dream, whereas maybe back then your wages were enough back then. Like, today's wages are not the same as.
I get what you're saying, but then the numbers doesn't change. 10.5%, 10.5%.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's just like, but your ability to pay that is much easier back then, wouldn't it? You know,
well, taxes were cheaper.
Yeah, and taxes were
cheaper.
Yeah.
And so you have this huge tax bill that, like most of us have, is burdened with. That's
right.
It's one of the things. And so at 10.5, when I bought my first home, it was like, okay, that's great. I'm good.
And let me ask you this: do you think the cost of living has gone up?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Food is more expensive.
Of course. That's not even a question.
But you think wages have caught up with that, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, it hasn't yet.
Yeah.
Wages are still. Well, of course, wages has gone up, but it hasn't gone up to where it should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As opposed to it hasn't. It just hasn't. So it's a matter of it comes back to our projection for this year. So as you're looking at this, what our projection is. Our projection for this year is that yes, we will probably sell more homes this year than last year. Right? We will. We've seen it now that we're a little bit busier, or when things are churning in the beginning of the market. So we'll sell more homes this year. There will be less inventory again this year. That's not going to change because of interest rate. No. What it seems like is that people in your generation are moving back at home. Do you see that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right? They're moving back at home. Not in droves, but most of them are spending time with mom and dad. Right? Because some of them hadn't caught up yet to purchase the property. Projection taxes is not going to change. That's going to stay high. I mean, it's not like the county going to say, okay, you guys are paying $8,000, now let you pay $6,000. That's not going to change. So I hear what you say when you say that maybe you can't afford it now, or as people in your generation, you can't afford it now. But this is just a reality of where we live in that things not going to
Right.
You'll still have a tough time, but I think if you apply yourself, you'll be able to do, to get to where you want to go, right?
For sure.
Because as you grow in the business, you'll realize that you'll be able to handle more and more more stuff. But it's just a matter of today's generation say, hey,
and I just wonder, like, if the majority of my generation just becomes renters, and that's like, I don't know if that's a sad reality. I don't know if that's a bad reality, or if that's just a reality that just is, and we just have to kind of wrap our heads around that. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like the American dream would have us all be property owners and all have our own plot of land and all, and our own real estate, and I just want to achieve that. You know what I mean? Like I'm an optimist. No, and not just me. I want the American people to all achieve that kind of goal. And so when I hear, as a young man, you know what I mean, and I hear like that the odds being stacked against us and the insurmountable like mountain that there is, you know what I mean? It's kind of scary, you know what I mean? Like,
and sometimes you're gonna have to move.
Right.
I was talking to a friend in Texas, and they were telling me how many people 20 years ago, and we had this conversation. 20 years ago, she could have jumped in her car and run down in Dallas, and now the expressways are crowded. And I just want to say that for the fact that I was listening to, I was reading where Illinois has lost, I want to say 800,000 people last year at Chicagoland.
That makes sense, bro.
And people have sort of moving out.
That makes sense, man.
Because of higher taxes, but yet Chicago is a metro city and people want to come here. But also, we in Chicago has had a massive uptick in tourists. Right. So even though we've lost people, so it's a matter of there's a balance somewhere, man. When it comes to people like you and your generation and the American dream, right? There's a balance somewhere.
Right.
And so we have to find the balance where we can say I can make enough money to stay where I'm at and to grow where I'm at, But I just say that for the fact that people are moving out, and I said to the fact that there's times when
people migrate.
People may have to move in order to achieve the dream that they want to dream. And some people are stuck in the Chicagoland suburb, but they may not want to move.
Little history lesson. The reason why there's a lot of black people in Chicago and a lot of blues is because people from Missouri and Mississippi came to Chicago during, like, I don't know, the 20s, 50s or something like that. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know, I wonder if we like to think about those, like, the Great Migration. We like to think about those things, like, as if they were part of the past. But, like you're right. I mean, we could be at the precipice of another great movement of...
We could be.
Because, people are moving from California to Texas and all this.
Yeah, that's a huge migration.
So and that's more like tax-driven, I think.
It is tax-driven.
So, yeah, like you're right. There's like different pressures out there that just kind of cause us to move. And I just wonder if I think Chicago's okay. Because we're kind of one of those, we're a big city, we're a home...
But like, neighborhood.
And we got kind of like a Midwest feel to us. Mm-hmm. But we're also just we're not California, we're not New York. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care about...
We're a hometown city, man.
Like, we don't care about clout as much. Does that make sense? Like,
I guess
we don't care about the glitz and the glamour and all...
We're Midwesterners.
Yeah, dude, we gotta scrape snow off our cars, bro. Like be humble, bro. You know what I mean? I feel like Chicago forces... It's not for everyone. That's what I think. Like, it forces... Like, I think... the environment and the neighborhood, it just forces a certain kind of grit and a certain kind of like humility that you have to carry. You know what I mean? That we can't be California. We can't, it's just a different kind of mentality out here. So
I wanted to tell you guys what we're doing this year. Because time is getting ready to wrap up.
Yeah.
And this is just, but I wanted to let you know what we at Mills Realty is doing this year. So we're growing. We have added brokers to our team. We have added what's called, we say doors, but it's property management. So if you're looking for a property manager, that's one of the things that we do. And we would we are a licensed property management company. We have teamed up with some of our like a marketing company that's really, and you may see us like a lot of places this year because we've teamed up with a marketing company to help us put the word out and to grow our community. If you're a realtor, this is an important. If you're a broker and you're licensed and you want to be able to team up with, we're a boutique, as they would call it, because we're not like massively, but a boutique company who has your interest at hand and want to see you grow. That's one of the things that we want to do, help you as another broker grow, and to say, well, hey, can I get a lead? Or we're willing, I am willing to share my leads with my brokers so that they can make money. Everybody got to stand on their own. I can't come in and you got to feed you, make sure that I'll make sure you eat, but you still got to stand up on your own, right? To stand up and say, hey, I'm going to do this because I can give you as much as possible, but until you want it for yourself, you're not going to go out and get it. Right? So I want to be able to. So if you're a broker and you're sort of unsatisfied with where you at, come see us. We're in Touhy Avenue, 2640 West Touhy Avenue, 773-764-9547. That's our office. Or you can hit us up at millsreal.com. That's millsreal.com. And if you want to come in, or if you're considering the real estate industry, come chat with us. We are on a trajectory to actually grow the company and with other brokers. And Renzo has been trained. So I'm looking forward, by the way, guys, for at least 2 of the brokers that we can come in, train them. They're with us. They run around with me, and as we try to grow. And Renzo can even be a trainer. Okay,
I got 3 years now.
He got 3 years in, right? So he would be able to help me train you guys if you're looking for anything of that sort, or you want to be in the real estate industry. Hey, check us out. We're willing to work with you.
Yeah, and if I'll add to that. If you just want to generally help us out and join the team, why not?
We're looking for folks to join the team.
Yeah, just join the team.
If you're licensed, it's a plus. It's a massive plus.
Yeah.
Because then we will help you, create income for yourself. And it's nothing like creating your own income, and doesn't have to work for the next person. And some people have to work for people, which is fine. But if you're an entrepreneur and you have a mind of an entrepreneur, and you want to be able to say, hey, what does real estate have for me? Hey, check us out. Check out our website as we constantly upgrade our website. See what we're doing. Check out our podcast, and we do quite a bit for a boutique company, right? So I'm looking forward to reaching out to anyone who wants to do this.
And I'll just add and if you know of a company or you own a company or you're associated with a company that does anything with housing like construction, plumbing, HVAC, or anything like that, let us be another source to you. Reach out to us if let's do business. I mean, we're open to anybody in the neighborhood in the Chicagoland area. There's no need for us to be so guarded about our business. If you need our help and if we would love your help, let's make one and one put together and make 2,
And as I see the if you're falling, this is so important because I've helped. The Department of Housing had a program where they were helping people that were behind on their mortgage, and so the program ended, and we were trying to advertise our program because some people were behind. However, and if you're behind on your I was going to say your association dues, we help quite a bit of people pay up their association dues through IDA. But my thing is, if you're having problems with your home, don't be afraid to call. Don't lose your home. Don't let us help you. Let us connect you with organization to see if we can help you if you're running behind. Just know that we're here to help.